Russia and Ukraine. We're now learning that Russia has launched a massive strike on Ukraine, including in Kyiv and other cities. These were hit by hundreds of drones and missiles overnight. Ukraine says that 4 people, including a child, have been killed and more than 80 have been injured. Residential areas, factories and power sites have been damaged in the 12-hour barrage. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged the international community to cut off Russia's energy revenues and provide more air defenses. He has stated that Russia would answer for its actions, calling the strikes vile. Listen in.
Сьогодні весь день після російського удару тривала ліквідація наслідків у Запоріжжі, в Києві, Київській області, в інших наших регіонах. Більшість уражень – це звичайні будинки, це цивільні об'єкти. Постраждали більш ніж 80 людей. На жаль, 4 людини загинули, і серед них одна дитина. Мої співчуття рідним та близьким.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's defenses remain under heavy strain as it waits for more Patriot systems from partners, including the United States of America. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has stated that there are no signs of new peace talks with Ukraine. Its spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, has told state media that Kyiv has given no signals about resuming negotiations. His comments have come after Zelensky warned that Kremlin officials should know where their bomb shelters are. Zelensky suggested that the Kremlin itself could be a target. However, Peskov dismissed the remark, stating that Ukraine is losing the war and its negotiating position is weakening. With us on the broadcast is Dr. Satoru Nagao, fellow at the Hudson Institute in Tokyo. Thank you for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. Interesting developments, especially this fresh barrage of drone and missile strikes that have taken place in Ukraine over the course of the last night. Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister, was in New York recently. He had in fact stated there that Russia is open to negotiations to end the war. But on the ground, the situation continues to escalate. Russia is scaling up its offensive. NATO nations are meanwhile preparing for the worst. Do you think that this war will continue to drag on even further?
Currently, Russia has continued 2 types of operation. First type of operation is intensified attack against Ukraine. And another type of the operation is making pressure to all of the NATO countries. Recently, Russia's strategic bomber fly near Alaska, and of course, the drone entered Poland, Romania, or fighter jet enters Estonia. All of these activities are part of this type of making pressure toward NATO. So what is the intention of Russia is matter. Firstly, if they want to expand their territory, of course they need to intensify the territories as much as possible. That is the first one. But at the same time, before the negotiations start in the future, of course they must expand the territory as much as possible. So in this case, anyway, they need to expand territory. Another one, making pressure towards NATO is this related to its military operation in Ukraine is matter. There's a possibility in this case that this is also related with Russia's military operation against Ukraine, because making pressure towards NATO means that NATO focusing on many other issues in their border, in the Finland, to the Baltic state, or Romania, the Black Sea. So that's why supporting Ukraine is more diverse. And at the same time, this is a message towards the NATO country. Russia's stance is very strong in the negotiation. But at the same time, if Russia really worry about NATO's retaliation, they cannot do that. But they do not worry the NATO threat, because they know that NATO will not retaliate. So if the NATO shows a more strong stance as a retaliation, the situation will change. It's good to be happen. Thank you very much.
A quick follow-up to that, there's of course another very crucial player. I'm referring to the Americans. J.D. Vance, U.S. Vice President, recently stated that President Trump is growing rather impatient with the war dragging out between Russia and Ukraine. However, we do know that today Trump is quite busy as far as the war in the Middle East is concerned. He is slated to meet Netanyahu very soon as well. Meanwhile, Ukraine is waiting for fresh cash over the Patriot missiles systems to be shipped over there so that they can use it in order to bolster their air defenses. Where do you think this arms exports and the increasing arms exports by the US and the arms sort of help that the United States is providing to Ukraine is headed next? Are we seeing more deals on the horizon?
Yes, in this case, providing weapons itself is a card of negotiation. In case of the Middle East, of course, the U.S. stance has already cleared. That's why there is no problem to provide weapons. But in case of the Ukraine, this is part of the negotiation card between Russia and Ukraine. Once the United States start to provide offensive weapon against Russia, there is a possibility that Russia want to retaliate. So that's why if the U.S. really want to seek the negotiation table, providing the offensive weapon towards Ukraine or the restraint to providing the offensive weapon to Ukraine, which one is better is a little bit controversial. There is a possibility that as a retaliation of the Russia's attack against Ukraine, United States should provide the offensive weapon to the Ukraine. And there is some media remarks that President Trump is planning to provide the Tomahawk missile to Ukraine. But at the same time, will it happen? It's still this is the situation under negotiation between Russia and the United States. So that's why the United States is still waiting to use this card in the negotiation. That is current situation. So in the near future, it could happen, but at the same time, still U.S. are waiting.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking out time, sharing your analysis.